Today we're going to be flying on Wizz Air down to Milan, and we're going to find out what it's like to fly them post-lockdown. Join me on this short trip and let's find out what they're like. Today's flight is already delayed by about an hour and a half, so that doesn't set us up for a great start. As ever, flying in the post-lockdown world, you need your face covering. I've got mine with me today. It's not that easy to put on with one hand, so bear with me a second. There we go. Welcome to Wizz Air, London Luton to Milan Malpensa. Enjoy the video.
Like all airports these days, Luton is no different in its clear messaging on entry. You must wear a face covering and only passengers are allowed in. There's hand sanitisation points located around the airport. I headed towards security and the airport feels busier than what I expected. There are transparent dividing screens on each security lane, meaning passengers can stand side by side. There was, however, no distancing in the queue, and it was pretty chaotic. It's like people have forgotten how to go through security. Anyway, the next difference is the border force, who were out checking passengers and seeing where we were going to. This is something that I've not experienced before. I headed upstairs and sanitised my hands. There's clear distancing messaging as you walk through duty free. Most shops appear closed, although Next was open. Maybe the shops had been open earlier in the day. I walked through here around 7:30 in the evening. Now I hope you're ready for this. Luton Airport has always had a challenge when it comes to having enough seating. You'd think that as it's a little quieter, there might be more space for passengers to spread out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you Luton Airport during a pandemic. People sat on the floor, most chairs full. If I'm honest, do not fly through Luton. The problem is most bars and restaurants are closed, meaning the seating within those retail units can't accommodate passengers that would otherwise be sat in there, meaning everyone is now stuck in this small departure lounge, and Pret is the prime example of this. I headed down one of the piers that would hopefully be a little quieter where I could find a seat. The boarding gates at Luton have been updated to add perspex screens, making gate staff more secure. I like the use of the red to show where you can scan your boarding pass. In anticipation of a gate number, I headed in search of a water fountain, which it turns out was broken. With no restaurants open, the only place to fill my water up was back at security, so I trekked back through the terminal for a refill. The gate for today's delayed flight was gate 30. Boarding started around 8:45, where we were issued with a travel form to complete and told to hand in on arrival in Italy. The form was different to the one that I printed off at home and filled in, and seemed to catch most people off guard. By all accounts, this was an old version of the form. The aircraft arrived on stand about 9 PM, around an hour late. Boarding was absolutely chaotic, just check out this distancing. A good half an hour after boarding started, boarding actually started, sort of. Classic boarding, not boarding on the staircase. Eventually, 10 minutes later and 40 minutes after boarding started, we were making our way onto the aircraft. It seems I'm the only one using the back steps today. I'm in front of door R3 in seat 23F. It's a good seat over the rear of the wing. So why are we delayed today? Well, the first reason given was customs reasons on a previous sector. I had a look at where the aircraft flies to before Luton, and each day the schedule takes it to Athens first. Just look at this consistent daily delay due to customs problems. The average delay according to Flight Radar 24 is just over 30 minutes. The next leg from Milan Malpensa to Luton is consistently delayed too by around an hour. All this means that the final flight of the day from Luton back to MXP is constantly delayed. Just look at the red here, the average delay is 1 hour and 13 minutes, not what anybody needs on a late evening flight. To compound this delay, the fuelling truck at Luton was nowhere to be seen, adding an extra 30 minutes of delay as it only turned up once boarding had been completed. Whilst we're waiting, let's look at the seat area. On a Wizz Air A321 you get a blue seat. The tray table was clean and integrated into the seat, and in the seat pocket you'll find only a sickness bag and a safety card, and I'm pleased to say no rubbish. Overall, legroom is tight, especially with a bag under the seats in front. Can anyone in the comments help me out here? Can the APU be turned on when refuelling is taking place? I asked because the cabin was really hot with no airflow until fuelling had been completed. A quick check of the safety card and we're finally pushing back, 10 PM, 90 minutes late. We taxied out to runway 26 and departed at 10 past 10. Today saw us banking left, tracking to the north of London and then heading southeast towards Margate and over the English Channel. The first mission on tonight's flight is going to the loo. There's built-in soap in this rear toilet. Overall it's fairly clean considering it's the aircraft's 6th flight of the day. As I said earlier, I had filled in my arrivals form at home, but in light of the new one, the next job on tonight's flight was to fill the form in that we received at boarding. Here's a top tip, always travel with a pen. Most people didn't, and pens were being passed all around the cabin to fill the forms in. Forms completed, and how did I get seat 23A tonight? I'll be honest, I'm usually one of the idiots who pays for a specific seat because I like the window, I like to look at the wing, and it makes for a better video. However, Wizz Air have upped their seat reservation charges significantly, so I winged it and luckily enough I was auto assigned this seat at check-in, saving myself £21. Stay tuned to find out what I paid for this entire flight at the end of the video. You'll be amazed. Anyway, it's getting late, so let's get some sleep. After only 1 hour and 35 minutes in the air, we made a right turn from the north to land on runway 35 right. The crew did request us to disembark by row number, but didn't enforce it and the usual chaotic alighting process ensued. We were on a bus gate tonight and halfway through disembarking we were held on the aircraft until 2 additional buses arrived to maintain social distancing. A total of 4 buses were used to get us off the aircraft. We had a long walk through the terminal before a temperature check, which I passed. Next up was immigration, which was no different to usual, and at no point did anyone ask to collect our arrivals forms, of which I now had 2. It's quite frustrating given the amount of time filling it in. With that, we have arrived in Italy. Welcome to Milan Malpensa. Today's flight cost me €11.25, booking just 5 days in advance. I'm sleeping in the airport tonight, so stay tuned for that video which is coming up soon. What did you think of Wizz Air and Luton Airport? I'm in no hurry to fly them again and Luton Airport really does need to improve. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments and please subscribe for future videos. I do release a video every weekend and there's plenty more to come. Thank you for watching and we will see you next time.